welcome to Yamoja Speaks podcast with your host, Shalonda. This podcast is dedicated to talking about personal development, as well as topics regarding trauma healing, traumatic experiences that we've had, and how to overcome those traumatic experiences and live the lives that we want to live. We pull from the background of foster care, but this podcast is dedicated to helping anyone who have experienced traumatic issues in their childhood and want to find ways creatively to resolve them. If this podcast interests you, let's jump right into it. Hello again. And so in this podcast, we're going to piggyback off of the last podcast episode, Adulting Time. We're going to talk about self-parenting. So I know that depending on how we were raised, how we grew up, whether it was in foster care or with our parents, there are some things that our parents, our caretakers did not give to us. And self-parenting is a way to take care of our neglected needs from our childhood, and it helps us to build self-esteem, confidence, and give ourselves value and self-worth. During this time of self-parenting, we change our perspective for how we live, and it leads us to effective and satisfying behaviors and routines and patterns to produce better outcomes. So with this, we're providing ourselves the value that we did not get emotionally, physically, the guidance, a schedule, security, and support. And some of these things we weren't given to us as children. And so now as an adult, we have to take responsibility of giving these things to ourselves and healing these parts of ourselves while we are in adulthood. And so thinking back to when you were a child, what are some things that you did not get? I'm going to give you the steps in how I'm going to go through this self-parenting phase of my life. So I have about 9 things that I'm going to kind of label off, but I definitely want to dive deeper into the individual topics and how I can lay it out, and what techniques or things that I'm going to be implementing every single day in order to get results that I want. So number 1, I am going to acknowledge and accept my inner child's feelings and to create emotional boundaries for myself. I know that as a child growing up, I definitely did not develop that awareness and certainly did not have emotional boundaries. And so giving a name to my emotions and how I feel and not judging them is how I'm going to develop that process of knowing what emotions I'm feeling and how to express it. And really, it comes with, if I'm talking to someone, how to express that I'm not okay to engage in a conversation and I need to take some time and some space to work and regulate my own emotions. Number 2 is to be the role model that I wished that I've had, I wanted, or that we've never had. For me personally, I did have role models, so now it's me stepping into a phase of my life where I can be a role model for other people, the next generation. So that means me being very aware of my habits that I am forming. Are they good? Are they something that I want to give to my kids? Are they something that I want to pass to other people? Healthy habits for them to continue. Am I expressing my emotions effectively, efficiently? Am I on the right career path? Am I doing everything that I need to do in order for me to reach those goals? Number 3 is to set reasonable expectations and be consistent with knowing where my boundaries are and enforcing them. So in childhood, other people, society have expectations for us, and some of us were not taught how to have boundaries or to say no. And so what that does is when we get into adulthood, we allow people to take advantage of us, or we don't have high expectations or reasonable expectations for ourselves. And so we put the bar very low. And when we accomplish that low bar for ourselves, we feel excited and happy. But when we look at other people excelling, we're looking at our low bar and we're like, I can do so much better. So we're giving ourselves that expectations to do much better in our lives. And I know for me personally, this is going to be a big one of believing in myself. And when my no is no, because I'm trying to build and focus on myself for career growth and emotional stability, I really do mean no, right? And standing on that no. Creating a regular schedule is 4. So with creating your schedule, I know that 2 things pop up for me, which is discipline and responsibility. So we know that we have responsibilities that needs to be completed. If you have a job, you got to go to that job. If you have kids, you have to take care of those kids. And you have to be disciplined, right? You have to keep up with the daily tasks, the responsibilities that you have to do, right? And I remember, as kids, when you did not do the thing that you're supposed to do, you get a consequence, y'all. So going back into this phase where you discipline yourself as an adult, I know it's like you want to do everything. I'm an adult. I don't care. I can do whatever I want, right? But when you get to a certain phase of your life, you see the level of responsibilities that you have. And when you want more responsibilities, you have to demonstrate that you're able to handle what you have on your plate already. So when you're disciplining yourself, you're taken away from those privileges and luxuries that you ultimately want, but you don't deserve those things because you did not handle business. You are taking those things away until you do the things that you're responsible for. And so for me, that's a big one because it's supposed to help you plan, organize, have safety, security, and build on consistency. But I really do think that setting a schedule goes with number 5, which is to create routines and rituals. So for me, I'm setting my bedtime routine and really being disciplined enough to be consistent with it, but having a ritual, which means that it's something that you're going to do without thinking about it. So dimming the lights, setting that candle, having that ambiance for relaxing and calming yourself down for the evening is your ritual. But what that does is it sets you up to already know how your day is going to be flowing through because you know what time you're going to wake up. You know the times that you're going to hit this, and this throughout the day. You know when you're going to go to sleep. You know when you're eating throughout the day. So that consistency allows you to really stay on the disciplined track because you know exactly what you're doing. I'm definitely getting into this, y'all. But and then I would say boundaries also come with this as well. So when I was talking to my therapist about a couple of years ago, I had to reflect on this. But if you say that you're going to do something this with routines and rituals, right? If you say that you're going to stop, let's say you have your own business, and you tell yourself that you're going to stop working from one job or one activity to focus on something else so that you have, equal amount of time set for certain things throughout your day, the boundaries, right, is being upheld by yourself. So if you tell yourself that you're going to do something, you have to follow through with that. So if I'm saying